Hi everybody, I am back. Sorry, I missed you last week. Yes, it was my birthday week. I was up a mountain, actually quite literally. If you follow me on Instagram at the Alcohol Freedom Coach, you're going to see some of the fabulous actually photos we took up a mountain. And there's me in my summer dress, and there is all the cloud coming in because we were up really, really high, and actually got out to go onto a glacier where it was literally snowing at the end of August. Kind of cool. Anyway, I'm back. So I'm sorry. I hope you still went ahead. Tell me in the comments, actually. And even if you're not live, if you read this out, tell me in the comments. Are you following along? Are you making Wednesday perhaps your one day in the week where it's your moment to pause and reset and just decide to go wine free just because you want to try it out? All right, so this is what this is all about. This is Wine Free Wednesday. It's time to pause and reflect. And I'm going to give you judgment-free commentary and coaching and advice on how to do this, right? We're not in the game here of making ourselves feel bad. We're doing this out of choice. Now, today's topic kind of echoes a little bit what I covered in this week's episode of my podcast. If you are not a listener, go ahead and subscribe. Why are you not listening? It's the 90 Days Later podcast. And my episode this week was asking, is drink the fun thing? So I want to talk about that here today, because what I often find is that, I used to find, and what my clients tell me all the time, is that the evening just feels a bit more, it's got a bit more chutzpah, it's a bit lighter, a bit more fun, a bit more frivolous maybe, a bit more flighty when there's drinking involved, right? You can be having the great fun, and then all of a sudden someone says, shall I open the wine? Or have you been in a restaurant, right, where a waiter pops the champagne, that pop sound, kind of all eyes are on the people, and then there are smiles, and it just seems, maybe you have this sensation that it really does, it just lightens thing, it lifts thing, it feels like an upgrade, it feels like an elevation, it feels like fun. And you have some opinion about that you shouldn't be thinking that, or that's a bad thing to think, or it's something that is holding you back. And the first thing I would say to that is, rid yourself of all those judgmental thoughts. These are just thoughts. We can decide what we want about this. It's just what we decide impacts what we end up doing. Right? So if you're going to go around thinking that champagne and wine just makes it better, then go figure you're going to be looking to the champagne and the wine to make things better and to make it fun, because that's what you're telling yourself. I'm going to offer that it's doesn't have to be that way, but I want you to start with thinking about this. And I just also want to recognize, because I hear a lot about dopamine and people say, but it's the dopamine, what can I do? I'm sort of fighting against the dopamine. And I want to offer, we go towards this. Let's work with the dopamine. Yes, there's a dopamine hit, right? This is how our brain reacts when we're doing enjoyable things. And we are responding to this. So if we have any kind of history, any kind of association that wine is going to make things fun, the moment we start thinking about that, we're going to start having the dopamine go off. And this is why we can be thinking and we can be feeling this way hours ahead of a party or any kind of drinking, right? It can be 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and you'd know, not on my Nelly am I going to have a drink now. No. But we can still be looking forward to it. That's dopamine at work. There's an anticipatory element to it, and we don't want to fight it. We don't want to be afraid of that. That is part of how it works, and we can use it. We can work with that. So I just want you to think, sort of my main question for you to consider today is, are you the type of person who thinks, yeah, actually it really does elevate a situation. I really do like the wine, and hands down, it makes it better. Because then what's going to happen, I just want you to see what you're doing. You are then enhancing and creating and fostering and encouraging even an element of your brain to believe that, right? Nobody else is doing that apart from you. Now, you will be taking in signals from elsewhere, from what advertisers want us to think, what society thinks, what your best friend thinks, what your husband thinks, what the past version of you thinks. But I just want you to consider, if you're going around thinking that alcohol is the thing that makes it fun, you are active. It's kind of like, you know, in those films where they're out in the middle of nowhere and it's freezing cold and they have to create a fire and they're kind of blowing on the fire. I'm not even sure if that works. That's what you're doing by having this belief that you have and that you're holding on to. And we just want to be wiggling these beliefs free. We just want to be starting to question, does alcohol make it fun? One way you can reframe this is to actually direct your brain into what really is fun and that doesn't have any negative consequences. I mean, really, this is the thing at the base of it. You could go around thinking wine's fun, right? But if you are thinking I'm drinking too much, or I'm suffering hangovers, or I don't like how I feel, why do it, right? We have these negative consequences. So let's look for what's fun that doesn't have negative consequences. Maybe listening to a piece of music, maybe chatting to your friend, maybe watching the drunk people have fun. Have you ever noticed how it's quite funny, actually? I'm not laughing at them, because I was that person once where somebody, if you had a little bit tipsy, become the big experts, and they tell you the same thing like 15 times. And that can be fun, right? It can be fun just to notice, if you're in an outside space, if it's still summer, got some nice evenings still, that it's fun to see the stars. It's fun to be with people. I want you to direct your brain to those areas. I also want to offer, there is a difference between wanting and liking. Very big difference. Now, a lot of the time when we're working with desire, when we're working because it's time for drink, and you might even have this on a wine-free Wednesday, so but it's going to be wine-free and I really, really want it. We can want something. We can truly, in the depth of ourselves, want something. But that doesn't always mean we get the thing. Did your mother ever say, I want, doesn't get? I heard that throughout my childhood. So that's the first thing I would offer. It is totally possible to want and not have. And it is maybe natural that you be wanting the wine to elevate the evening because that's what you've done for 20 years. But wanting is different to liking. Maybe you don't like the fact that you're wanting. Maybe you don't like the fact that you think you need to have the wine as part of it. I just want you to think about these different things. And if we can veer more then into, well, what do I like? What would I like to feel? What would I like to think about myself? What would I like to be able to direct my brain to do in that moment? Those options are open to you, right? Even if we have all the dopamine sparks going on, these other options are open to you. I've got a quote here from a client that I've written out. And what she told me was, I always thought wine was what made Friday nights fun. I can resonate. That used to be me. But when I look closer, it wasn't the wine. It was the relief of being off duty. I can give myself that feeling without the hangover, right? So the fun piece is just being able to say, I can put my feet up for this client. I can and I said, literally put your feet up when you get home. And don't just say it. I mean, get here and take your shoes off, put them up. Put them up, maybe not where you're not allowed to or you really don't want to, but just literally put your feet up. I had a client who said when she got home, she'd like to lie on the floor and put her legs up against the wall to ease her limbs when she'd been on the go all day. Right? This can be fun. These other things can be fun. Obviously, you don't want to do that at a party. But I want you to really think about it. So whether you want something and what you like and whether you have it, these are all different. These are all up for grabs. So I just want you to think about that. Here's your takeaway. That really I talk a lot about awareness, but I really genuinely want you to say, how is wine fun? How is wine not fun? How is it more fun without? How is it maybe equally fun right? Just one to start to question these things. And I don't, anybody who's watching, if you have comments or questions you want to ask me on this, I'm very happy to stay on and chat about this a little bit. Because I guess the nut of today is I just want you to think, if something is fun and special, and that happens to be in the drink, then think about all the times when the drink is not going to be there in the evenings. It might seem less special. So that's the first thing. And then the other summary point is think about all the times during the day when you just in a month of Sundays would never, ever drink. And you have fun, but not a glass of wine in sight. I just want you to think about this. And when I say think about, I genuinely want you to pick up a pen and get your notebook and just write this stuff out. See what's in your mind. See what's coming up. And if you want to drop your comments, I think you can do it anonymously. You want to drop your comments below this video, I will go in and I will respond. I promise I will respond to everybody. If you want to reach out to me, Anna at 90dayslater.co, and share with me there, right? I'm very happy. I'm here for help, to help people. So that's what I will say. So that's your Wine Free Wednesday for this week. But before you go, there's two other things. So firstly, the standing offer. If you are sick and tired of this and you just want to be done with this and you like what I have to say, let's chat. Right, let's do a discovery call. It is totally no strings attached. If you don't want to work with me, that's totally fine. I don't work with everybody who has a call either, but you can go ahead and book that. I'm going to drop a link below, or you can go to 90dayslater.co and there's a book a call button. And I'm going to be doing something actually genuinely a lot of fun for, we have Sober October around the corner, and you've probably seen all the same old, do this, you know, go dry for 30 or 31 days. I'm going to do something very different and a lot of fun, because I thought I just want to spark some sense of inquisitiveness and self-inquiry and discovery into this. I want you to learn how this could feel for you. I want you to give a taste in that month as to what a life where alcohol is irrelevant, how that could feel. Now, you aren't going to get to that point probably in 30 days or 31 days, right? There's some repetition here, but you can get a really solid taste of this could be for my future. And as I work with people who don't necessarily want to go sober, I'm not going to do the full sober thing unless that's what you want. I'm going to have different flavors of it. It's going to be huge fun. And I'm going to be doing an early bird on this. So people on my email list are going to get first dibs, and then I'm going to cut it off after a certain point. So if you want to get on my list, you need to get on my list. 90dayslater.co/list. And that just means you're just another step closer into my world. You'll get my value-packed emails, and you get to find all the great goodies and bonuses and things when they come out. All right, so anybody got any comments you want to add before I sign off? I have 2 minutes to go, and then I'm going to finish my chicken pie, which is so huge fun as well. I'm going to be doing that with my Perrier water. Actually, no, my San Pellegrino. What am I on about? Any comments anyone has? Otherwise, if you're reading this on repeat, feel free to drop below. But I celebrate you all. I celebrate you for turning up, for showing up for yourself. I celebrate you for deciding I'm just going to make Wednesday Wine-Free Wednesday, and just to see what you are capable of. And if you have been struggling with drinking too much, whatever that means for you for years, I applaud you from the bottom of my heart. And I just want you to know it is totally possible to change and to have a life that feels full and that doesn't feel constrained and miserable and all the rest of it. Okay, all right, that's it for this week then. If nobody has anything to say, I will see you next Wednesday, but feel free to drop your comments there. And if you want to get on my list to hear about my wonderful Sober October thing, 90dayslater.co/list. Okay, I'll see you next week.